Okay, everyone. I think that we do have enough people here to start the meeting. The meeting is currently now streaming live on YouTube. So yeah, we will go ahead and begin, and I'll call the Students' Assembly to order. With that, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from cycle 7? And yeah, I will say virtually, if someone could just like raise their hand and then state their motion, that would be more organized for us all. Jenny, you're recognized. Jenny, do you want to make your motion? Or having issues with my computer. Sorry, yes, I motion to go forward with the approval of the minutes. All right, Wesley, do you second?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So a motion has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any opposition to moving forward to a vote for the approval of the minutes? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and launch that poll in the Students' Assembly channel. Yes. All right, that has now been sent in the chat, and I will allow about 2 minutes for people to vote on that and finish up the poll there. All right. And folks should now be able to start voting on that.
And for folks that just came in, we are voting on the approval of the minutes. So if you haven't had a chance to go to the chat and vote, please go ahead and do so. Yeah, Cynthia, sorry, it's just quiet because folks are voting right now. So if you actually want to go ahead and vote too, the poll is on the chat, and that would be very appreciated.
Looks like we've hit our quorum number, which is 34. Is there anyone who has the ability to vote on this that has not done so yet?
Yeah, I believe Cynthia and Jenny couldn't find the poll because I think they were not looking in the right place, but it is on the Students Assembly channel. Yeah, like
Yes.
Colin just said, Students Assembly channel.
Okay.
You should be able to find the poll there. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So now I'll issue a second call here. Is there anyone who has the ability to vote that has not done so yet? Hearing no objections, I will move to close the poll. And it looks like with a vote of 41 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions, this motion clearly passes. All right. And with that, we will move on to the next item on our agenda. Humberto, could you pull that up for us?
Yes, my bad. I'll pull it up in a sec. Can you see the agenda?
Yes. Okay, yes. The next item on the agenda here is the officer report delivered by me. All right, so Humberto, can you take the chair metaphorically through this virtual call?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, go ahead, Ethan.
All right, and so as far as the officer report, we did a written officer report for this cycle, for cycle 8 here, and you can find the joint officer report, the written version, under the files of the Students Assembly channel. It's under a file titled Joint Officer Reports for 2022. So really, I'm just going to be reading some highlighted points from each of the positions that I feel is important for the Senate to know. For the policy director, we are looking at establishing a warm clothes / coat closet and getting in contact with Watkins to oversee their warm clothes closet to see how we can expand and make it more readily accessible to students on campus here. We are also looking at improving recycling in the residence halls, working with student housing to improve recycling habits and standards for res halls, apartments, and scholarship halls, and working with the sustainability funds that we have to potentially aid the issue. As you know, we currently have Senate funds under the Student Environmental Advisory Board fee. And with that, moving on to the graduate president, we see that she has met with Nicole Rios from the Office of Graduate Studies to set a plan in place for applying the funds for the next academic year. That would be related to the graduate block funding. It was decided that the EOF funds are going to be what is utilized for that funding from now on. And it actually allows graduate students to have their grants increased from $500 to $750 per student, which allows more easily for international travel related to that specific travel fund that grads utilize. Next here, we have, aside from the meetings mentioned above, that GSAB has been researching how student governments in the Big 12 work and what their graduate student input is like. This is part of just sort of like a larger study, seeing how the Student Senate best benefits graduate students and what that'll look like into the future. Let's see, Holly has also reached out to graduate student senators from last semester and has gotten officially like a concrete list of those returning to serve and those who have relinquished their roles following the end of the fall semester here. Let's see, lastly, today, Holly is going to be emailing all of the graduate student body to garner interest for the last fee review positions that are left for graduate students. They've reached out to students within the higher education administration program, however, no luck sort of there. So I will once again issue that call to any graduate students who are involved in Student Senate. If you would like to be participating on the fee review committee in deciding like the student fee for this academic year, please reach out to Holly. And then finally, all GSAB meetings have been scheduled for this coming semester as well. As for the Treasurer's Office support, Hamad just wants you to know that they are working on the campus fee right now, as is sort of monopolizing the time of a lot of our Student Senate folks related to finance. And so if you have any questions related to that, don't hesitate to reach out to the Treasurer email. The Associate Treasurer is currently working on adding last touches to the budget book, and then we'll be starting the process of renaming the Associate Treasurer position, as well as redefining what this position continues to do for Student Senate. As we've seen sort of across Student Senate positions, we've really looked at like the work that we do as an executive staff and see like what needs to be continued on versus what is sort of repetitive across positions. And so this is sort of going as like a whole scale remake of like what the executive office can do to best serve the needs of the Student Senate. Next, from the President's Officer report, the SUA and Student Senate t-shirts are here in the Student Senate office. We ordered those a bit ago and now they have finally arrived, and SUA brought them over today actually in just a giant pump. So you can go ahead and pick those up here at the Student Senate office if you are so inclined. We have availabilities in pretty much all sizes, and so first come, first serve. Please come pick up these t-shirts. They look really great. And also this week, we are continuing to interview for the communications director position that has been vacant across the winter break here. We're looking to have someone hired around like sort of Monday to Wednesday of next week. However, the position is still open on the KU job site. So if you do feel like applying and think that you are like best suited for the communications director role, please feel free to apply through the KU job site until Friday at midnight here at the end of this week. As for the Internal Affairs Director, updates on the clicker program, we did get an email sent out to interested student groups in regards to delivering Student Senate clickers across different class areas and such. With that, we are seeing great success with the program. People are continuing to utilize it this spring semester. In fact, I heard someone checking out a clicker at Max's office today and the other day. And so we're really seeing widespread utilization of that program. It's really becoming a great success. And then the mentorship program is still open, and we're going to start advertising that around campus soon. And so if you are interested in having a mentor in Student Senate and or becoming a mentor in Student Senate, please feel free to reach out to the Senate Internal Affairs Director and sort of get that communication set up. From my officer report here, Naya and I have established our one-on-ones with cabinet members and are sort of going to continue to engage in these on a bi-weekly basis throughout the semester. We're hoping that this will help to keep the office connected on like a myriad of projects and will help keep some critical communication links, especially as we deal with sort of like the repercussions of the Omicron variant on our campus and our, ability to have this hybrid virtual format for working in a lot of cases. Next, Holly and I met with the Chancellor's Chief of Staff, and Dr. Durham on the 21st. We discussed a lot of items related to just sort of the campus reopening for the spring. The first one was COVID-19 concerns, ranging from like testing availability to issues with the in-person instruction, and just discussed like that we believe that there needs to be a reconsideration of like the hybrid instruction restrictions that were put in place by the provost office. Next, we addressed the plagiarism of the MLK Day email committed by the provost office, specifically under the Office of DEIB. And it was relayed that students behind this behavior unacceptable. And of course, like the provost office agrees. And what came from that is that really we would like to see an email stating like that this plagiarism act occurred, because as it stands right now, the provost office has delivered no message in regards to an apology for the MLK Day plagiarism, or like sort of like saying that the email was from the work of Curtis L. Coy. And then finally, we once again brought up the issue of communication at KU and approached the topic in two ways. In the end, Dr. Durham said that she would be able to send out Senate emails if we can provide a good amount of information on the email for the remainder of the semester. This is really just to relate, you know, a minimization of like students having to see multiple different resources on their emails, but also making sure that we are able to communicate effectively with our constituents. And so it was relayed that we believe we should have control of this process, and that we would look to advocate for a freer approach to that process in the future. As of right now, it seems that Student Affairs is working on a newsletter. However, that will most likely benefit next year's Senate rather than this one, as we continue to sort of work out what that will look like. Next here on my office report, I plan to obviously host the remainder of cycle 8 here virtually. But I will also be looking at considerations for hosting cycle 9 students assembly meeting virtually. I'll sort of let you know by the email in the same way that I did in this past email in regards to what that looks like. But as it stands right now, those decisions are sort of being made on a week-by-week basis on how we can have these meetings in the best way possible to make sure they are effective meetings, but also safe for students involved. From our social justice director, EOF meeting dates have been set and all board members have been selected. The application review process is contingent on a possible amendment. And so Hamad will be bringing that to the Students Assembly tonight in regards to like what that will look like for the EOF process. The Social Justice Council is also going to be tabling soon. They're working on recruitment efforts to get numbers up and have had really great ideas for the semester and are excited to see the outcome and support for those programs. I know that also like a myriad of like committees are doing this as well. You're seeing this happen as well on the Rights and Affairs Council as well as the Finance Council. And so really looking at having a joint Senate outreach effort to make sure that we can collaborate with as many students as possible in regards to the student government. Let's see, as for the Chief of Staff, Umberto is working on the new website and will be ready for like the revision this Friday. And we're also working on making changes that need to be made to the Student Senate to match our new constitution, while also revising it as needed as we sort of like look at the operationalization of that document. With that, that would be the end of this joint officer report here, and I will now pause for questions. How much time do we have left, Umberto?
There's 2 more minutes for questions, but we can always extend, of course.
Brilliant.
And Ethan, I'm not sure, did you mention about the position still being open for comms?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, awesome, yeah. So,
and if no one heard it, I'll relay it again as well, that that position is open until Friday at midnight. So please apply if you are interested.
Yeah, please do. And just like for your information, like this would be, you know, with comms, you don't necessarily need like an enormous internal Senate knowledge. So like even if you're new in Student Senate, comms specifically does not necessarily require that much knowledge of the institution per se, just, you know, your qualities as a PR person, communications, etc. So if you have those qualities, like please apply. Don't feel intimidated if you don't know anything about Senate. That's totally cool.
Okay. It doesn't look like there's any questions. Or was there?
Someone.
Could people please raise their hands, I guess, so that we know where questions might be coming from?
I'll give just like 10 more seconds to see if anyone has a thought. All right, seeing none, Ethan, you have the chair back.
Brilliant. Okay, with that, we do not have a consent agenda tonight, so we will be moving past that item on the agenda here. And then next we have the regular agenda. First, we'll start with Bill 2022-39, a bill to fund the Elections Commission for 2022. I believe Hamad, you are presenting that.
Yes. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Cycle 8. So before I go into the bill, just to talk about how much is in the unallocated for this cycle, we have the recommendation for this cycle's allocation was $5,056.20. Coming through this cycle, we have $2,548.28 with one bill that I'll be presenting. And if this bill passes, we'll have for next cycle, for the remaining 4 cycles, $5,683.18. The total amount remaining in our unallocated is currently at $25,281, which is more than half, a little bit more than half of what we started off the year with. So still more than what the ideal cycle should be looking, or we still have more money than the ideal cycle. So if you have student groups that need funding, feel free to send them over. All of the Student Senate applications are now on the website, so no need to ask to meet with me before creating a request for funding. So, but I highly do recommend students to meet with me before requesting, because it'll assist them in this process. So the request is going to be for the Student Senate Elections Commission. So currently their SOFAS account has a little bit over $2,500, and to match that and make it up to $5,000 for this election cycle, I'll be requesting a simple $5,000 from the Student Senate Reserve. So not necessarily coming out of the unallocated, but this is coming out of the Student Senate Reserve, so we'll be needing a 2/3 vote on this. And then the document that I have linked with this is more of just how much is in the SOPA's account. Any questions?
Questions from Ahmad? There are currently 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. All right, looks like we have a question from Max. Max, you're recognized.
Yeah, has money from the reserve ever been used to fund the election before? Like, what's kind of the history of that process, I guess, is my question.
No election has ever been funded by Student Senate.
Okay, thank you.
So this is new for me too. But historically, the funds that were in the SOFA's account were used according to the charges of the Election Commission, is more to advertise the election. So their job should be PRing it across campus with those funds, but now they have more than one use.
All right, next it looks like we have a question from Malik.
Can you just, I'm a little confused on what the money is used exactly. Is it going to be for student groups who are running, or is it going to be to advertise the election itself?
Technically, it's for the trial court to use for both. So per the new constitution, there's the funds in the Elections Commission should be used for both. So I'm just doing what the constitution was passed to do. This is just putting money for them so they can use it.
Thank you, Malik. Any other questions for Ahmad? There are 50 seconds remaining.
Motion to vote.
All right, was that you, Holly?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, see a motion from Holly. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, was that Alejandro?
Nope. Farzad.
Farzad? Perfect. Okay. All right, we have a motion from Holly and a second from Farzad. Is there anyone opposed to moving to a vote on this legislation? All right, seeing no opposition, I will go ahead and get a vote ready in the Students Assembly channel.
039.
All right, so that has now been posted in the Students Assembly channel. Please vote if you are so able. As Hamad did state, this is a budget code amendment, so it does require a 2/3 vote. And
Everything I present tonight will be 2/3, by the way.
very true. All right, we have reached our quorum of 34 on this vote. So has anyone who is able to vote not yet voted on this matter? All right, seeing no objections, I will move to close the, oh, still rolling in. Okay, I'll give it another 30 seconds. All right, has everyone had the ability to vote on this matter? All right, hearing no objections, I will close the poll. And it looks like with a vote of 39 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative, and 1 abstention, this motion clearly passes. All right, thank you. And now we'll move on to the next item on our agenda here. Bill 2022-40, a bill to remove block line and EOF hearings. And Hamad, you will also be presenting that legislation. So you have 5 minutes. Oh, you're muted still.
Hello, everybody. It's been a long time since I last talked to you. So this bill is a new one. It's going to be changing how we do required campus fees hearings a little differently. So Student Senate oversees a couple different funds. That'd be Wednesday night funding is what you guys see the most. There's DEI funding, which you barely ever see or never see. There's also line item, which you'll see in about 2 cycles. There's block hearings, also in about 2 to 3 cycles. There's EOF hearings that's going to be done by the social justice director, and then there's fee hearings. So there's a lot of hearings that Student Senate oversees. So to make that process a lot easier, and recognizing that a lot of these hearings, not many students attend, even though there are charges within the Student Senate to have individuals attend these meetings, they are not attended well historically by students, even before the pandemic. So this is not really a result of the pandemic, but rather a part of a realization due to the pandemic that we weren't actually attending many of these hearings. So my proposal recommendation to Student Senate is to make block, line, and EOF hearings all be based off of a written application only and not do hearings, and allow the members of, or the applicants of, these different funds to submit an online presentation if they want to. By doing so, we'll be saving about 6 days worth of hearings, because each one has about 2 days worth of hearings and then about half a day worth of deliberations. So this would be saving a lot of time, considering historically the treasurer and finance council chair and associate treasurer are the ones who attend most of these on their own. So for just to roll through the application real quick, or the bill, taking out the Student Senate Director of Diversity and Inclusion, because they're the chair up here now with a new name of Social Justice Chair. So that is being just corrected. And then next, moving forward, the treasurer will no longer be responsible for scheduling the hearings, but rather the applications, and making the application available to everybody, which is on the website currently. The application presentation recordings shall be due no later than February 15th. Currently, we are on that timeline, so there's no timelines being messed up here if we do move forward with this bill, considering we are in the fee hearing season. And then I cleaned up some of the verbiage around disbursement, because Student Senate doesn't actually oversee the disbursement of these funds, but rather the disbursement happens throughout the year, and the departments that get allocated the funds are responsible for making sure the funds get allocated or dispersed. I also took out the word undergraduate, because a couple lines above it says undergraduate and graduate students are qualify for this funding. So this is one of those instances where repetitive verbiage was taken out. So any student in good academic standing can qualify for this fund. Management was not touched. Another part of the budget, another part of the Constitution that's being touched is the budget code. So block allocations will just be called the block allocation process, because there's no more hearings. If this passes, there's still going to be an application, just being called block allocation is going to be how it's going to be done moving forward. As far as line item goes, it's only going to be called line item allocation, not line item allocation hearings. So just by taking out the word hearings from a couple places from this rules and the rules, I want to say rules and regulations, but this is actually the Constitution. We are saving students at least 8 days worth of actually looking through our hearings, because at the end of the day, we're most likely going to allocate them the money that they want per the application that they submitted. So I don't see any need for making people show up at late hours and times. So if this bill is not passed tonight, it's going to be really hard for some of the individuals to make it to the application and hearings, because if we are having hearings, then our advisors are required to show up, the students are technically required to show up, but no one ever ensures that. So it's just going to be probably the few individuals that are usually in the room. So I'm open to questions now. The bill's in the chat if you need to pull it up.
I will say you actually aren't open to questions. We do need a time extension.
If there aren't any questions, I was going to motion to approve, but if someone has a question, I can also motion to extend the time. But I don't see any hands.
No, I'll throw it out there. Does anyone have any questions for Ahmad regarding this legislation? All right, Holly, I would suppose your motion would be in order. So.
Yep,
you wanna make
motion to vote.
All right, do we have a second? Right. Alejandro, is that a second from you?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. All right, we have a motion that has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any objections to voting on this legislation? All right, seeing none, I will go ahead and make a poll in the chat. I am muted. All right, that has been sent now to the chat here for voting. You should be able to start voting on it now. If you approve the bill, vote yes. If you do not, vote no. If you would like to stay out of this conversation, please abstain. Now we'll let that run for 2 minutes.
Hello.
Haha, only time.
What's up?
I guess no one asked this, but I'm just going to say it. Fee hearings are not affected by this bill. So the required campus fees will still be heard this year. So that's the 33 funds that constitute the $20+ million that we oversee. So that one cannot be, that would be hard to pass without review.
All right, that has been 2 minutes, and it looks like we have voting past our quorum here. Has anyone not been able to vote that has the ability to do so? All right, seeing no opposition or changes, I will move forward and close the poll. All right, and it looks like with 41 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, this motion clearly passes. And the rules, or rather the Constitution, are amended. All right, thank you for that, Hamad. All right, and it looks like Hamad would also like to request to go into committee as a whole to bring in a piece of legislation and then for a motion out. Okay. All right, so it looks like there has been a motion on the floor to move into committee of the whole. Do I have a second?
Second.
All Was that Wesley?
Yeah.
Perfect. It's so fun seeing some of you on the screen, but not others. All right, and the motion has been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any opposition to this motion? All right, seeing none, we will move forward, and we are now in committee of the whole. Ahmad, would you like to screen share your legislation?
Cool. Legislation is a bill to appoint an interim chair to the Elections Commission. This bill basically, the only piece right there is in red. I shared it in the channel, is for the Student Assembly to appoint a chair, interim chair, for the spring 2022 election, and the Student Elections Commission shall elect internally a chair-elect that will take office after the student spring elections of 2022 this year, just so we as a Student Senate can support the Elections Commission as they understand the actual new constitution, and recognizing that they are a new commission, so none of them have served in Student Senate before. So appointing someone that has Student Senate experience but not actively engaged in the Student Senate chambers currently as a legislator or executive would be something that is preferred. So someone who understands Student Senate verbiage and how to read the rules. So I will be looking for a motion to come out of committee as a whole with the generated legislation.
Motion.
Second.
Realized I was muted. Holly, you can't second. If that flips, then I could do it.
Then I withdraw.
Withdrawal. Okay. Holly, do you want a motion?
I guess.
Yeah,
And
motion
then I
to go back to
second.
the whole Wesley, you second. Perfect. All right. And is there any opposition to this action? All right. Seeing none, we are now back in regular session. All right, Hamad, would you like 5 minutes to present your legislation? Or
Yes, please.
really just take questions? Perfect.
Yeah. Any questions?
Right. Let's see, any questions here on the teams? All right, it looks like we have a raised hand from Wesley. So Wesley, you can go ahead.
This is more of a, I guess, giving of information. The entirety of the Student Rights and Affairs Executive Committee, Executive Board, has already reviewed this bill, and we've already given it our approval. So even though it's through committee of a whole, we still endorse this.
Thank you, Wesley. Next is Camden.
I have a motion to exit committee of the whole.
Oh, we've already done that.
That's embarrassing. My mistake. Carry on. Sorry.
You are good, Camden. Mistakes happen. All right. With that, any other questions?
Motion to call to question.
All right, I see a motion from Max. Do I have a second? All right, second from Alejandro. All right. And with that, is there any opposition to moving on to a vote for this legislation? All right, seeing none, we will move forward. Thank you, Ahmad. that and realized that is actually a number up. So I'm going to recorrect that posting. I just realized, Ahmad, we actually have legislation that is 40, then 40 for cycle 9, and then 41 here, which I think is funny.
Yeah, bill numbers get assigned as they come in. So there was a 41, but that automatically gets assigned to next cycle since it came after the deadline.
Correct question is up on there. Do you approve Senate Bill 2022-42? Yes, if you would like to approve this amendment to the Constitution. No, if you would not, and abstain if you would like to stay out of the conversation. Reminder that this will also require a 2/3 majority to pass. All right, that's been about 2 minutes here, and we are past our quorum threshold here. Is there anyone who has not voted on this legislation that has the ability to do so? All right, seeing no objections, I'll move to close the poll. And with a vote of 35 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, this motion clearly passes. All right, and with that, we'll move on to the next item on our regular agenda. Thank you, Hamad.
Thank you.
All right, and Umberto, I believe that's the appointment of a university senate member.
Yes, that is right.
Correct.
Let me pull up the agenda again real quick. There we go. Yeah, so replacement representative to University Senate and one for the Senate Executive.
Perfect. Okay. All right, and with that here, I'm now looking for nominations on the floor. Oh, Holly, did you have something?
Yeah, if we nominate someone to University Senate, can we also nominate them to Senex, or would it just be one or the other?
Okay, the thing is, our Senex nominees come from the pool of our current university senators.
Right, so yep, I see what you're saying. I nominate Ton. Is he a member of University Senate?
Tom, do you accept? Or is Tom here? Actually, Umberto, if it's helpful, could you pull up our current list of university senators?
Yes.
It says that Ton is here. Maybe he stepped away for a second or something.
We'll await an acceptance of the nomination, I suppose. Anyone else who would like to nominate?
I'll nominate Stu.
All right, Stu, do you accept? Or wait, this is actually an undergrad seat in University Senate, so you would need an undergrad student for this position.
I am technically an undergrad student.
Oh, technically, great. Okay, so Stu, do you accept?
I actually can't right now. I have multiple other commitments at this time that I will not be able to do it. I apologize.
Understandable. Yeah, and I will also sort of set out the obligations of these positions. And so for University Senate, you will have to meet on sort of like a Tuesday, Thursday it's a Thursday for University Senate. You'll have to meet one Thursday out of the month to be at a University Senate meeting between 3:15 to 5 p.m. And then for Synex representatives, that's usually a Tuesday meeting between 3:15 and 5 p.m. every 2 weeks throughout the year. And we actually, we do have one of our current Synex representatives here, Camden. Do you want to speak a bit about the committee and your experiences on it?
Yeah, Senex is cool. I enjoy it. Time commitment wise, the meetings aren't too awful. It's, as Ethan said, Tuesdays from 3 to 5 generally. We're actually considered, I think, the highest level of university governance because Synex comprises representatives from all three, I guess, branches of the university, namely faculty, staff, and students. So you're communicating directly with upper echelons of University of Kansas, which is cool. We met with the Board of Regents last fall, which was a great experience. If you are nominated and are accept to join Synex, it's a great experience. I would recommend.
Just out of curiosity, is that for University Senate or Synex? Because I think those are two different positions, right?
Yeah, that was Synex. I'm on University Senate too, but that was Synex.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure we had clarified.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Camden. All right, let's see, Holly?
If people are interested and you haven't been nominated by somebody else, you can self-nominate. Just, you might be interested and someone hasn't nominated you, but that doesn't mean that you can't run for the position. So I just wanted to make that clear to everyone.
That's true. All right, I saw Wesley's hand. And then
Well, I'm just gonna ask if they are hybrid or virtual, or do you have to be in like a specific location?
there are
at a
virtual
specific
meetings
time?
every time.
All right, red.
All right, Hamad?
I'd like to nominate Farzad.
All right, Farzad, do you accept?
For the Synex or
For
student?
University Senate.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, looks like we have one nominee here. Any other nominations before we close the floor for nominations?
Can you nominate chairs?
You can nominate any student.
Oh, then I nominate Wesley.
All right, Wesley, do you accept?
Sure.
All right. And let's see, give me
I'd like to nominate Colin.
Colin. Colin, do you accept?
Yes. Do it, Colin.
Let me check the chat here. Sorry, I cannot. Okay. Looks like Colin does not accept there.
I nominate Diego.
Okay, check the minutes. Sorry, what was that, Max?
I nominate Diego.
Diego. All right, Diego, do you accept? I can't.
Sorry, I can't.
All right. And do we have any other nominations? All right, seeing none, we can go ahead and move towards a vote here. Let's see. All right. Any other nominations before I just officially close the floor? All right, then. We will move towards a vote on these nominees. Wesley, did you have something?
Aren't there usually like speeches by all the candidates?
Let's see, are there for Senex representative or for University Senate representatives?
Isn't
Yeah,
it for all elections?
You're right,
Mhm.
yeah. Let's see. Okay, so with that, let's see. For Zod,
I can
you
leave
have-
first.
Huh?
Oh, I just said I can leave first.
Oh, yeah, I was about to suggest that. Yes.
Just at me.
Sounds good, Wesley. Yeah, we'll at you and get you back in the meeting as soon as this is out. All right. For Zod, we will go ahead and give you 2 minutes to sort of explain your cases, why you would like to be on University Senate and represent like the interest of Student Senate there. And you can start whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. So hey guys. Oh, okay. Got it. Was I on? Okay. Never mind. I'm Farzad. I've been on the finance committee for about a semester since last year. I think I've liked Student Senate generally so far, and I'd like to see what else there is to help out where I can. And yeah, I think those are my.
All right. Do we have any questions for Farzad? All right, seeing none. Farzad, can I have you exit the Teams and then I'll ping you whenever we're ready for you to return. Right, let me invite Wesley.
Welcome, Wesley.
Hello.
Oh, back, perfect. All right, Wesley, you have 2 minutes. Start whenever you're ready to just sort of explain why you'd like to be in University Senate and like why you'd like to represent Student Senate's interests there.
All right, I can start now. So the main thing would be to, as I'm already the chair of student rights, focus on protecting student rights, especially from admin overreach, since our chancellor does not have the best reputation currently when it comes to protecting our interests, the interests of faculty, and the interests of staff. One of my main plans would be to help coordinate opposition to any sort of tuition and budget proposal that would not be favorable to the KU community, and that would be one that does not pay our graduate teaching assistants well enough or living wage, along with our professors and other instructors who have had to deal with a lot of pay freezes while admin bloat just simply continues to rise. And then on top of that, helping just manage internally our interests within Student Senate and advocate those in University Senate. We have coming up soon our fee proposals, and the reason why really they were rejected last year and we had to cut our own programs is because the state doesn't really see us as legitimate. Getting faculty and staff to also help advocate for us on that stage would elevate our own legitimacy as well and allow us to actually fund the things to help students, to make sure Watkins is properly funded, etc. All of those things require will eventually require a fee increase this year, and we have to be able to get that through the Board of Regents, while also making sure the chancellor doesn't try to increase our tuition or to pay for more administrators instead of giving our GTAs a living wage. So those would be my main priorities, and of course I'd be open to many more like goals and initiatives. If I'm elected, comes to me and says, hey, I'd like this to be one of the things you work on, I'd gladly take it on. I already do that as chair of student rights, and I'd happily do that as a University Senate representative as well. So if anyone would have any sort of like interest they would want me to particularly promote and bring up, I'd be able to do that for you. And I'll reserve my time for questions.
Thank you for that, Wesley. Let's see, Camden, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Wesley, those are all fantastic ideas. I was curious how exactly you planned to affect that type of change through University Senate. Like, what institutional authority does the University Senate have that you will use to enact those changes that you're proposing? For example, increasing faculty pay or GTA pay.
The main thing would be public pressure, because KU is a school that is obsessed with its public image. I'd be surprised if Douglas Girard doesn't look in the mirror at least 5 times a day to make sure people like him. So their main thing is that when something looks bad for KU and when it gets enough attention, they'll actually change it. Like, for example, with the Chancellor's private jet, they finally stopped using university funds on that jet because it looked really bad and people and students and faculty and staff were harping on it. And then University Senate would be a sort of a bully pulpit for that in order to work with the press, as student rights has been doing with Abdullah in the University Daily Kansan, but with University Senate being like a higher position than just the council, we would then be able to work with like hopefully other news outlets as well to put forward those ideas and lay out like these facts, because when like they can't it'd be harder for the news to ignore issues like GTA wages when essentially every aspect of KU that is not the chancellor is all saying the same thing and telling him to do something. It would look bad on him. It could possibly hurt enrollment if he didn't do what we said, and then he'd be more likely to actually do it. That is how essentially students and faculty and staff have been able to do anything at KU, because institutionally, sadly, the fight was lost a long time ago to give University Senate teeth, which is something we could try to open the door to again at the Board of Regents. But right now, its main useful tool in that aspect is being a megaphone. Does that answer your question?
Sure. Can I ask a follow-up?
Sure. Well, it's not actually my decision, so.
Yes, you may, Camden.
Thank you, Ethan. Appreciate that. So you made clear that public pressure, is your grand master plan for advancing these sorts of changes. My question is, what about having a University Senate appointment specifically makes that public pressure campaign possible? Right?
It would. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
No, you're all good.
All right. So it would be specifically being able to work with like higher ups in the faculty senate and in the staff senate and sort of make those connections in order to have those meetings in order to like make that more possible. While I could do it from down here where I'm at now, it would certainly be possible, but be more of an uphill battle. But it would be easier if I was already having structured time around them, got to know them, made those connections, then able to hopefully sway them over to our side, which would be beneficial for all of us.
All right, with that, do we have any further questions for Wesley? All right, seeing none, I'll ask Farzad to join us again. Although I was informed, let's see here. Yeah. All right, and just a question, Farzad said he was experiencing some glitches on his side of the Teams. Did everyone hear Farzad all right when he gave his presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, Farzad, are you back with us?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, and with that, if there are no other questions here, we'll go ahead and move towards a vote. All right. I will get that posted here on the Students Assembly team shortly. I think these are all right, that poll has been posted. Please select whichever candidate you feel will best represent Student Senate and University Senate. And I'll let that poll run for about 2 minutes. Reminder, we still are at 34 for our quorum numbers, so I'll check in again around there. All right, has everybody voted on this matter that has the ability to do so? All right, looks like we still have some rolling in. I will let that run for another 30 seconds. All right, has everyone voted on this that has the ability to do so? Seeing no objections and no changes in the past few minutes here, go ahead and delete this poll. And it looks like Wesley Cudney has been elected as our new University Senate representative with a margin of 23 votes to 14. Congratulations, Wesley. All right. And with that, we will now be moving on to elect a representative to the University Senate Executive Committee. And with that, basically anyone who's currently a University Senate member can run for this position. And so I'm now seeking nominations from the floor.
Ethan, is this restricted only to University Senate members?
Yes, it is.
Can we maybe get a list of the University Senate members?
Yes. As of right now, from what I have in the University Senate, it looks like members are Faith Lopez, Alejandro Rangel Lopez, Andrew Moore, Turner Seals, Camden Baxter, Sharif Sabira, Martine Vasquez, Sophia Vicente, Evan Winden, and now Wesley Cudney. And then, of course, Holly Hall for grads.
Wait.
Perfect.
I'm going to nominate Andrew.
Is Andrew here to accept?
Oh, I don't think he is.
I'll call him.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, if he can get on before we end the nominations, we can go ahead and elect. It looks like Emma has nominated Alejandro. Alejandro, do you accept?
So, hi. I do not have the capacity for that at the moment. Sorry. I politely decline.
Fair. All right.
Wait, Ethan, did you see Hamad's nomination? Sorry, I don't know.
Hamad, yeah, Hamad would like to nominate Wesley. Wesley, do you accept?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wait, this is for StudX, right?
For Senex. Well,
Oh,
Senex
okay.
implies StudX because Senex members do sit on StudX.
I have a verdict from Andrew Moore. Can I patch him through?
Have a what?
Andrew has responded. Can I patch him through?
You can.
Andrew, go ahead.
I accept the nomination.
All right. It looks like Andrew
Did you all hear that?
accepted the nomination. Yes. Thank you, Camden. All right.
So would Wesley have 2 seats on StudX?
Huh?
Would Wesley have 2 seats on StudX?
Oh, yes, quite right. Wesley, you are a chair currently. What would happen is those votes would not be doubled as everyone gets a single vote, but that would take up 2 seats on StudX.
Annoying.
You would
Guess
appoint
I'll withdraw
someone.
then.
You would
What?
appoint someone from your council to be.
Oh, yes, you could also, nominate someone from your council as a representative of rights instead of you.
Oh yeah. Then I guess I'll do that.
Thank you for that, Hamad. Yeah, that is always an option for chairs to appoint members of their councils as the actual voting members for those councils.
I think I saw Malik raise his hand.
Oh, Malik?
I was gonna say the same thing that Hamad said.
Ah, perfect. All right, any other nominations before I close the floor? Or Camden, is Andrew going to join the Student Senate meeting to give a speech or?
We just discussed that. He's given me his blessing to speak on his behalf if he's not able to make it to the meeting in time. He says he's like 5 or 10 minutes from home, so I'll keep you in the loop.
Okay. Let's see. Do we want to continue with nominations then? Anyone else have?
I'd like to nominate Diego as well.
Oh, Diego, do you accept? Or Diego is not a member of University Senate.
Oh, that's tough. That's 2 gaffes tonight. That's my bad.
You are fine. In fact, I really love the conversation around the rules tonight. It's actually refreshing. All right.
Ethan, if you want, we can come back to this while Andrew gets logged in, and I can bring my motion.
Yeah, we could do that. Let's see. If we want to go ahead and rescind the nominations on the floor, we can keep this in our business, and then we can go ahead and move forward with another part of the agenda. Does that sound all right for you, Hamad and Camden?
Yeah, that's cool with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you both rescind your nominations?
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect.
I do.
Okay. Nominations are rescinded. Do I see a motion to amend the agenda?
Motion.
All right. Motion. Wesley, what would you like to amend the agenda to include?
Whatever Hamad wanted.
Or Hamad, can you make it so Wesley can second?
It's in the chat. Motion to amend the agenda to add nomination/election for the interim chair of the Elections Commission for the spring 2022 election.
All right.
Then I second.
Perfect. All right. Motion has been properly made and seconded. Is there any opposition to opening the floor for nominations for the interim chair of the Elections Commission for this spring 2022 election? All right, seeing none, we will now move into a nomination period. I am now seeking nominations from the Students' Assembly.
Can I nominate?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. I would like to nominate Addison Henson.
All right, is Addison Henson on the meeting?
Yep, I'm on Julia's call. I accept.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Addison. All right, Addison has been properly nominated and has accepted. All right, do we have any other nominations on the floor? Motion to acclimate. All right, yes, there are no other nominations at this time, so that would be in order. Do I see a second for motion to acclimate?
Second.
Brilliant. All right, and so is anyone in opposition to moving forward with acclimating Addison Hinson as the chair of the Student Elections Commission? All right, seeing none, congratulations, Addison. You are now chair of the Student Elections Commission. Brilliant. All right, and with
I'm
that.
sorry, but pressing the clap emoji just doesn't have the same ring to it. Congratulations, Addison.
Right, Addison, do you have any words you'd like to share with the Students' Assembly before we move on? I'm seeing Julia put something in the chat here.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say just because I'm on the way somewhere right now. But I'm excited to help out with elections, and thanks for acclimating me.
Yes. All right, great. And yes, thank you, Addison, for that amazing service to the Student Senate here. Running elections can certainly be a difficult task. And so glad to see someone heading up to it. All right. Now, as it stands right now, we're on the regular agenda. Camden, has Andrew arrived or?
No, Andrew has not yet. Hang on, let me give him a call.
Would members entertain a 5-minute recess?
Hang on, who else are there any other nominations on the floor? I don't want to hold this up. I personally have stuff I need to do. So I'm sure Andrew, he honestly said who else, what are the other nominations on the floor? I'm sorry.
Well, it was just Wesley and Andrew.
Okay, have Wesley go ahead. Oh, we can't because there's 2. That's my bad. I'm sorry, I'm having to do this on the run.
You are good. All right, so let's see. I guess, Wesley, do you nominate yourself and accept?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then Camden, you nominate Andrew Moore once again. Brilliant. Okay.
Hang on, I'm on the phone with him right now.
Okay.
Andrew said he'd hop on the meeting in like a second, so.
Okay, great. Yeah, that sounds good. Actually, could you tell Andrew to await a Teams message from me so that I can then allow him into the meeting when it's time for his speech?
I will do that.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. With that, since Andrew's not currently in here, Wesley, you have 2 minutes to state your case for Senex.
Alrighty, I'll start now. So the main thing would be the same platform as for University Senate, which is focusing on student rights, working with faculty and staff on protecting our shared rights from admin intrusion, and then opposing any tuition and budget proposals from the Chancellor's office that is not favorable to the KU community and that does not give our GTAs a living wage, while also opposing the ridiculous admin bloat going on. Except the reason for being on Senex is that it would allow me to do all of that, but more effectively, because I would be in the room more often with higher up KU administrators for me to push my case and for me to be able to get them to say things on the record and commit either to good ideas or embarrass them for bad ideas. So I would be an aggressive advocate for all student rights on the Senate Executive Committee. Then with that, I'd be open to questions.
All right, thank you, Wesley. Are there any questions on the floor? All right, Camden, you may go ahead. There's about a minute left.
Do you support raising the student fee? Senex would have an integral role in communicating with the Board of Regents. Is that something you support?
Yes, as previously mentioned in the University Senate race, I do support raising the fee so that we can fund our critical services like Watkins, for example, and University Senate and Senex will be critical in pitching that case to the Board of Regents and showing that Student Senate as well is a credible and legitimate student government at KU.
Permission for a follow-up, Ethan.
Permission granted.
Thank you. As I recall, Wesley, you were the president of Students Against Rising Tuition, where you made clear that raising education costs were a critical issue. One of those costs does include the student fee. Has your view changed?
No, on the fees that I opposed. So the fees that I opposed were, for example, the recreation expansion, where they wanted to put a swimming pool in the rec, and that was not a wise use of student money. But making sure that the people who are currently employed at Watkins are getting their funds, of course, I support that.
Permission for another follow-up?
Let's see. I'll grant one more yes, but then we might have to move on.
Appreciate it. To clarify, you do or you do not support raising the student fee? Your answer kind of muddied the waters a bit there.
Yes, I do support raising the student fee with our current plans right now.
Thank you, Wesley. If you want to go ahead and exit the Teams call, and I will message you when you can come back. Perfect. All right. And has Andrew joined the call? Camden?
Sorry, what was that?
I was asking if Andrew has joined the call.
I don't know. Let me look.
Oh, I saw you raise your hand, so I thought, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to toggle mine off.
Here.
I mean, has anyone let him know that he can come in?
No, correct.
Okay, I can say that.
Yeah, he's joining. I called him.
Oh, cool.
All right, see you soon.
Oh, and it looks like we have another nomination on the floor as well. Josepha Kamsu. Josepha, do you accept?
I do.
All right. Josepha, could I have you exit the room as we do the speech?
I don't think we can accept nominations after it's been closed.
Well, I didn't close nominations. Okay. All right. Andrew, are you ready for your speech? Or Holly, did you have?
Yeah, I just had a question. Are these nominations for Senex, like University Senate Executive Committee?
Yes, they are.
And so they have the person, whoever gets nominated, has to already be on University Senate.
So yeah, Josepha, I'm sorry, we can't accept the nomination.
I was just confused because I didn't know if we were nominating if it was for Studex. I got confused, so I was just double checking.
You're right.
Thank you.
Let's see. Naya, could you inform Josepha of that? If she has exited the call. Perfect. Sorry about that, Andrew. Thanks for getting on here. All right. As I've said to other candidates here, you'll have about 2 minutes to sort of just state your case about why you think you'd be like an effective representative on the University Senate Executive Committee and just sort of what you're passionate about in terms of the work you'll be doing there.
Well, I definitely don't want to take the full 2 minutes for anywhere close, but obviously my name is Andrew Moore. Sorry if I don't have a super prepared speech since I wasn't made aware of this until about 5 minutes ago when I was driving home from the grocery store. But I think that I would enjoy being on Senex because I served on it for a little bit as a sophomore and enjoyed my time then and left some things unfinished since, I kind of left abruptly with some other business going on at the time. And I've got some ideas that I would like to kind of implement if I was able to have the opportunity to be on Senex. Since while I'm currently in University Senate, I had some conversations late last semester about potentially reforming University Senate, just because currently it is kind of disproportionately faculty-based, since, 41 of 41 faculty senators are university senators, and then, a small fraction of student senators and a small fraction of staff senators are in it. So it's just not a very representative body. And I think that there's some potentially common interest in making it a little more representative of campus as a whole. So that would kind of be my priority if I was put in this.
All right. Andrew was at the end. I thought it cut it off there.
Oh, I think someone, I guess I got muted. So, but yeah, I was just rambling at that point. So happy to answer questions.
Oh, perfect. All right. Any questions for Andrew? I don't know why that keeps happening tonight. All right. It doesn't look like we have any questions on the floor. So thank you, Andrew. You can remain. I'm going to re-invite Wesley here to the call.
Thanks for the chance to talk to y'all.
All right, Wesley, are you back with us?
Yep.
Perfect. And Josepha, you're here as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry for my slip up there. All right, and with that, I will now move forward towards a vote on these nominees. Once again, this will be in the Students Assembly chat, so give me a moment to get that set up. All right, for everyone who is able to vote, that poll has now launched under the Students Assembly channel. Please vote on who you would like to support for the University Senate Executive Committee representative, and I'll let that poll run for about 2 minutes here. All right, we are looking for 3 more votes here to make quorum. So if you have not voted yet, please do so now. All right, we do have our requisite number for quorum. Has anyone not voted on this motion that has the ability to do so? All right, seeing no objection and no changes, I'll move to close the vote. And it looks like with 31 votes for Andrew Moore to 3, it looks like Andrew Moore is our new representative to the University Senate Executive Committee. Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you very much. I am honored to serve.
Thank you for that. And we will update you on the StudEx and meeting information as well as becomes pertinent. All right. And with that, Umberto, I believe we're at the end of our agenda for announcements, correct?
We are.
All right. And with that, Holly, do you have an announcement you'd like to make?
Yes, my announcement is that basically we changed the university Senate, where my position now, as it's been elevated to a president's position, is ex officio on Senex, and so that position will be coming available. Sorry, my watch decided to talk to me. Sorry about that. So that position will be coming available for any graduate student that would like to run for it. How many graduate student positions do we have left on University Senate? Because there should be 2, right? So my position is basically being removed from University Senate. I'll be ex officio on that too. So we have a graduate student position available on University Senate and on StudEx. So Sharif currently serves on University Senate, so it would be between Sharif and whoever would like to take this position. So we're just garnering interest for the next student assembly, and then at that student assembly we can vote and decide. So any graduate student here that's interested, you can reach out to me and I can talk to you about it.
Thank you for that, Holly. And yeah, that'll essentially evolve. Like if Holly can get the interest from grad students who would like to serve and provide more graduate representation on StudEx with that, you can go ahead and reach out to her, and then she can resign that position of the voting Senex member to give it to someone else to give grads more representation ultimately in the Student Senate. With that, are there any other announcements before we move to adjourn this meeting?
Make sure you apply to a comms director position if you are into, public relations, social media, strategic communications, mass communications, all that. No Senate experience needed, just mostly comms and PR. But yeah, we would love to have you on board. It's $10 an hour for 20 hours a week, by the way, just so you have that in mind.
Thank you for that, Umberto. And I'm going to go ahead and post it here in the chat for anyone who might be interested. This is the link to the communications director job posting at employment.ku.edu. And with that, any other announcements or a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, a motion from Max. Do I see a second?
Second.
All right, who is that from?
Me, Emma.
Emma, perfect. All right. And with a motion that's been properly moved and seconded, is anyone objecting to adjourning this meeting? All right, seeing none, we are officially adjourned. Thank you everyone for your attendance and excited to see you all at the next meeting.
Good night.
And I'll just stay on the call here for any additional questions following